Have you ever thought who truly governs the internet? Who holds the reins of this vast digital world? You might assume internet service providers like AT&T, Comcast, or Verizon hold this power. However, that's not the case. If one ISP bows out, others readily fill the void. Perhaps then you'd consider the government as the overarching authority. While they might regulate certain content or occasionally block specific websites, these actions can be easily circumvented and don't equate to global control. How about tech giants such as Google, Facebook, and YouTube? Despite their extensive data repositories, they don't dominate the internet either. After all, anyone can create a website without their intervention. So when you carve out your own digital space, who grants you that virtual real estate? Is there an entity dictating the do's and don'ts of website creation? In this informative video, we'll delve into the intricate web of the internet, a pivotal instrument upholding global freedom and democracy. Countries such as China heavily restrict access to many websites for their citizens. Popular platforms like Google, YouTube, and Facebook are consistently inaccessible. This is often perceived as an attempt by the Chinese government to shape public opinion and information. Given these circumstances, it's crucial to understand the mechanics of the internet and its significance. www.facebook.com. This is a URL or web address. Here, Facebook is referred to as a domain name, while .com is known as the top-level domain TLDs. If you're interested in creating your own website, you'd first need to secure a domain name. There are specific sites, like GoDaddy.com, that specialize in offering domain names for purchase. But one might wonder, who grants GoDaddy the right to sell these domain names? What gives them this authority? Without some oversight, GoDaddy could potentially dominate the internet by controlling who gets what domain name. However, that's not the case. There's a higher authority that oversees it all. The supreme entity overseeing internet domain assignments is ICANN, the Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers. Based in Los Angeles, this nonprofit organization holds significant sway in the realm of the internet. It's ICANN that empowers platforms like GoDaddy.com to vend domain names. Essentially, ICANN is the gatekeeper that determines which entities can trade domain names and even what types of domain names can be established, be it .com, .in, .info, or .gov. While ICANN operates without a profit motive, it does auction off top-level domain names to companies. These recipient companies are termed as registries. If you delve into ICANN's website, you'll see a list of corporations and the respective top-level domains they own. Is ICANN the ultimate authority of the internet? Well, not exactly, as the internet itself is inherently decentralized. Think of it as a vast web. Every device, be it computers or smartphones connected to the internet, essentially forms this vast network. These are often termed servers. All these devices, from data centers to individual PCs, are interconnected through intricate wiring. Massive underwater cables crisscross between continents, facilitating global connectivity. But how does this relate to your wireless devices like smartphones? Smartphones leverage technology like 5G from cellular towers. These towers, however, have a limited range. Your device retains its 5G connectivity as long as it's within the vicinity of these towers. Move too far and you'll notice a drop in signal strength. These towers, crucially, are wired into the larger wired network infrastructure that spreads globally. For example, think of a major hub like Los Angeles where a major cable might land. From LA, numerous smaller cables branch out, connecting various parts of the country, ensuring internet connectivity is dispersed throughout the nation. To illustrate, the companies responsible for laying these cables possess a substantial amount of influence, since they provide internet connectivity to multiple locations. Furthermore, the firms responsible for deploying terrestrial cables that connect homes to the main internet backbone, enabling worldwide connectivity, also wield considerable power. These companies, known as Internet Service Providers, ISPs, akin to Verizon, AT&T, and Comcast in the US, deliver internet to our residences. Undoubtedly, they have significant influence. While these ISPs can restrict access to certain websites at the behest of the government, their power is not absolute. Technologies like VPNs can bypass the restrictions set by these ISPs. Just as every mobile phone possesses a unique number for calling, every device connected to the internet has its own IP address. This applies to computers, smartphones, and even servers like data centers. If it's online, it has an IP address. Similarly, every website is linked to a distinct IP address. Think of it this way: when you dial a phone number, you connect to another person's phone. Likewise, when you enter an IP address into a browser, you access a server, allowing you to view that particular website on your device. But we usually enter domain names, not direct IP addresses. These domain names are essentially the human-friendly versions of IP addresses, since strings of numbers aren't easily remembered by people. The system that translates the domain name you type into its corresponding IP address is known as the domain name server, DNS. At times, internet service providers, ISPs, restrict access to certain websites via their domain name servers, DNS. This means when you enter a domain name, the DNS fails to connect it to the correct IP address, preventing access to the site. However, there's a workaround. By switching to a public DNS, such as Google's, you can bypass these restrictions. This change can be made in your device's settings, whether you're on a computer or a mobile device. Once altered, previously inaccessible sites often become available. Another method is employing a virtual private network, VPN. So, circling back to our initial inquiry, who truly governs the internet? To whom does it belong? While it's an exaggeration to label industry giants like Jeff Bezos, Tim Cook, Mark Zuckerberg, Larry Page, or Satya Nadella as the managers of the internet, there's no denying the immense influence they and their respective companies wield over the digital landscape. These corporate leaders steer entities that are at the forefront of technological advancement and have cemented themselves as critical components of our digital infrastructure. Their decisions, whether regarding privacy, algorithms, or content moderation, can shape the trajectory of the internet's evolution. However, it's crucial to note that the internet's vastness and decentralized nature mean that no single entity or individual truly controls it. Instead, these influential figures and their companies represent centralized nodes in a vast web. Their influence is undeniable, but the internet's design still leaves room for grassroots innovations and emerging challengers to establish themselves. There's always potential for the next big thing to arise from an unexpected source. The most accurate response is that the internet is both everyone's and no one's. Its essence is in its decentralized nature. Want a piece of the digital realm? Create your website. To start, purchase a domain name. Next, invest in a server for storage. While our computers and phones could theoretically act as servers, they lack the storage capacity and 24/7 runtime needed for continuous website accessibility. That's why many turn to established companies with robust, secure data centers to host their sites. Once set up, connect your domain to your server and set your DNS live. Consider this. Owning a website can be likened to having a personal, accessible anywhere hard drive. With your site, you can access stored files just as you would on your local storage. However, unlike public websites, only you'd have access, secured behind login credentials. Essentially, it's like having a global hard drive at your fingertips. If you like our today's video, please make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel and comment subscribed. I'll make sure to leave a reply to each one of my viewers. Thanks for watching this video.